Counting in 5, 4, 3. Live from the Juneau Live Studio in beautiful downtown Juneau, Alaska, at Resurrection Lutheran Church, this is Juneau Eats, produced this special episode by the Studio Apprentice Camp of the Juneau Studio TV Production Camp of the Juneau
Showrunner Camp.
Showrunner Camp. So today we're going to go ahead and have a special show of Juneau Eats. And first we're going to have our land use statement read by Pastor Karen Perkins.
Our church and studio resides on the unceded territory of the Akukwaan and the Tlingit Ani, also known as Juneau and Douglas, Alaska. We acknowledge that the Tlingit peoples have been stewards of the land on which we work and reside since time immemorial, and we are grateful for that stewardship and incredible care. We commit to serving these people with equity and care. We recognize that a series of unjust actions have attempted to remove the Tlingit peoples from their land, which includes forced relocations and the burning of villages. We honor the relationship of these people to their lands, their languages, their ancestors, and future generations. We aspire to work toward healing and liberation, recognizing that our paths are intertwined in the complex histories of colonization in Alaska. We acknowledge that we arrived here by listening to the people's elders and lessons from the past, and these stories carry us as we weave a healthier world for future generations.
Thank you, Pastor Karen Perkins. We'll turn you over now to our host for this show, Karen Laufer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am excited to be here on another edition of Juneau Eats. This is a program that we have done in the past, and once it is recorded on our YouTube station forever, so individuals can watch it whenever they want to, which is very nice because every once in a while we'll pop in to see how many views we've had, and a lot of people continue to watch our shows. This afternoon, I have a very special guest. Will you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Karen. Hi, my name is Teresa Reynolds. I work as a dietitian at a local hospital here, and I'm very excited to be here and get to talk, and we'll do some cooking.
This afternoon, we have a very exciting topic. You know, we talk about calories, we talk about protein, we talk about fats, we talk about carbohydrates. Today we're going to talk about fiber. So what is the exact definition of fiber?
Yeah, good question, Karen. So fiber is a component in all of plant foods, and it is a type of carbohydrate, but it's not the type of carbohydrates that we think of that give us energy, like rice or pasta or fruit juice or fruit. It's the non-digestible parts of plants that help our gut health. So our bodies use that to help us be regular and help us feel full, and it's just another component of our nutrients.
So where do we find fiber?
Yeah. So there are some fruits and vegetables that are going to be higher in fiber than others, and some of those are legumes or bean family. So anything made from those, refried beans, black beans, pinto beans, and then also legumes include things like chickpeas, so that's like hummus, the hummus dip, or lentils. And then we also can have it in some of our grains, which are also plants. So we think of those whole grains as a phrase you might have heard before. And so those are things like whole grain breads. Our brown rice are going to have more fiber than our white rice or white bread. Those foods still have some fiber, just not as much as whole grains. And then some of our fruits and vegetables are higher in fiber than others. We were talking about the veggies before, like some veggies are going to have some grams of fiber and some are going to have more. So those are our fibrous vegetables like broccoli and cabbage. And then some of our fruits are a little higher in fiber, like berries are a really great source of fiber, apples and bananas are some good examples.
So you can actually have a pretty well-rounded diet with your food groups and your dairies and your fruits and vegetables and still get enough fiber? Or should you think about supplementing your regular diet with fiber?
That's a great question. So you can get a lot of fiber from our foods. So if you think about your whole day, you can definitely get fiber throughout your day at each meal. You could start the day with oatmeal or something made with oats, like an oat bar. Oatmeal is a really good source of fiber. And you can put some berries in it, and that would add some fiber. You can have brown rice at lunch. And then have some beans at dinner. So those are all really good fiber foods. You do see a lot about supplements, or I think that's what you were asking about.
Well, there's a lot of, every time you turn on the TV, you see something about add this to your high fiber diet.
Yes.
But you don't necessarily need a high fiber diet, or can you just get it in your regular eating habits?
Yes. Most people can get it from regular eating and not needing any sort of supplement for high fiber. There might be situations where those can help, and that's when you'd want to talk more with your doctor or meet with a dietitian and have more one-on-one on it. But yes, most of our foods throughout the day we can get our fiber needs.
Now, we're going to have Teresa go over and show us, she's going to cook for us a meal. Those of you who are watching will not be able to smell this wonderful meal, but our studio audience will definitely get a smell at this. And she's going to show us how we can cook with all the things that we're talking about. But I personally, because I'm not a cook, I have found the one thing that works the best for me is garbanzo beans in my salad.
Yes.
And if you put your garbanzo beans in your salad for your lunch, we're doing okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Karen, and it's a really good addition to your salad. And that's a really good example of some of the ways to make things easier. We can talk about, cooking beans from scratch and having to soak them and do all that extra prep, and that's a great idea, but that can take a lot of time. So, getting a can of canned garbanzo beans and just draining them and throwing them in your salad. You could put them in a pasta salad or tuna salad. Have them kind of roasted with your veggies. So there's a lot of easy ways to use canned beans, canned vegetables, or frozen veggies as well to make it easier for people. Right. That's a great idea.
So now we are going to go over to the grill.
Yeah.
And Teresa is going to do some wonderful meal preparation for us.
Yeah, great. Let's get over there. And I came up with just some easy ideas to add fiber and include, I knew that was going to happen. I told myself to make sure I was looking. So we're going to make a bean and cheese fajita, or quesadilla. And then also just an easy bean dip. And let me make sure my mic won't get covered by this.
Yeah.
And that's I think a really good starting point about ways we can just make cooking easy, because it can be fun to spend time in the kitchen, but if we don't have hours, then we want things that can come together quick.
Exactly.
And we have this nice griddle here that the church provided, but what's nice about this is you don't need to use a hot plate or stove. You could also make the fajita, the quesadillas microwave. You could just microwave them up, and that's something that's easy and kids could make. I guess I'll put this hat on. All right, do I look?
Now you look like a chef.
Okay. Great.
You are a true chef.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this down just a little.
No,
I think it feels hot.
Yeah, we're getting our heat on. And we didn't do this. I did it before I came on, and I'm wearing some gloves, but I thought I'd mention, every time we're cooking, it's a really great idea to start with washing our hands and making sure our station is clean and organized. I like to put my hair up because I have longer hair. So those are definitely some good things to keep in mind. So I think what we'll do is we'll throw some quesadillas on, and then we'll work on just cutting up a few little things for the bean salsa. So, what else do you like to make for yourself, Karen? So chickpea and
One can
salad.
always have quesadillas,
Yes.
right?
Yes, they are nice and easy. I love cheese as well.
I came from a dairy farm, so
Oh,
it has to have cheese. Everything has to have cheese.
yes. And what's nice is we can do as much as we want or as little. So you can use, any sort of cheese you want. We just have like a nice pre-shredded one. That makes it easier. And I have 2 different types of beans just for some variety. So I think for the quesadillas, we're gonna put in the pinto beans. And it's just, what's nice is you could really load up and get a lot of beans on your quesadilla, or you can just do a little bit if you're getting used to eating beans, maybe don't love the flavor of them yet, or still kind of figuring it out. And I guess that's a really good thing to remember about fiber. We probably have all heard at some point the magical rule about beans, right?
Yes.
As kids. It can, when we eat fiber, because it helps our gut, it can make us feel bloated, it can cause gas. So the best way to prevent that is by slowly adding more fiber into your diet. So starting off with just a little bit of beans instead of a whole can if you're not used to eating that much. And then also because of fiber in our gut health, we want to make sure we're drinking enough water throughout the day. So we just made, hopefully you could see that, some nice easy little quesadillas. You could put in some taco seasoning or salt and pepper if you want. We just don't have that on hand. And we're just gonna let them toast on one side. Ooh, I'm gonna put a more even quesadilla.
So if I remember all the different cooking classes and different places where I've been, it seems like every nationality or type of food has fiber and beans, lentils, rices, etc., and so on.
Yeah, I think that is a good explanation. And this grill
Yeah.
was really hot, so good call to turn it down.
Yeah.
I would have to go back too and look at old cooking classes and stuff, but I would say where we see beans or legumes of different kinds in a lot of different cultures and cuisines, it might not be, pinto or black beans, but hummus or lentils, and then so many cultures or cuisines have rice,
Right.
and grains. So I think these definitely got a little cooked more than we wanted, but let's turn it off so it doesn't get too
Okay.
stinky either.
I can turn it off.
Awesome.
All right. They
Yeah.
are turned off.
Good.
So-
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so a lot of it has to do with not necessarily, because beans sometimes they have no taste. So it's just a matter of seasoning everything. And of
Yeah.
course, my favorite is anytime you do hummus with garlic.
Yes.
And one can live on hummus with garlic.
Yes, and all the various iterations of it. Yeah, flavor I think is really important with beans or other kind of grains to make it more satisfying and interesting. And that's what's nice about, kind of cutting your time by using canned stuff, so then you can spend more time making your seasonings, and you can go right in different directions, more Mediterranean with maybe oregano or garlic and olive oil, or more garlic and turmeric. So yeah, you can kind of cover a bunch of different
Right.
flavor profiles with what
That's
you're
the one
interested in.
thing that I'm not good at. I'm not good at all the different seasonings.
It
I'm
can-
working on it.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
working on it.
And I think that's the best way to do it because, you know, it's got to try it out and see what you like because you're going to have different flavors and preferences than what somebody else does. And I think a good thing to think about is you can always add more, but you can't take away.
Right.
So starting with a little bit and then adding more to your taste as opposed to adding too much and finding out you can't take out too much garlic or.
Very true, very
Yeah.
true.
So these were our quesadillas, and yep, little more crispy than we might want, but we could just, you know, they'd be a really nice snack or meal with maybe a side of rice or this bean dip that we're gonna make, our bean salsa. I cut those very uneven. And like I said too, these are great in the microwave. That's what I'll do, honestly, a lot more often than toasting it up because it's quick and easy.
Or I have found that they're really good in a George Foreman grill.
Oh yeah, those are great.
I live with my George Foreman grill. I live for it.
Yes, very helpful. So the other thing that we're gonna make is just a quick little bean dip. And I just started cutting this onion to show, am I in a good spot with the camera for the cutting? Or do you want me to slide over?
Where's it?
Okay, awesome. Because I think it's always good to talk about. I think the other thing people can get nervous about is knife skills or how am I supposed to cut something or am I going to cut myself, which we want to be careful about.
Oh,
Exactly.
yes, yes.
So with onions, you know, in a lot of our vegetables that are round, we want to make a flat surface first. So I cut off the top. And now I have a much more stable situation as opposed to trying to chase around a round onion. And then I cut it in half, and now I have an even flatter surface. So I'm only going to cut a little bit of onion because we're just making a little bit of bean salsa. So I'm cutting once on the inside. Let me peel off. Yeah, this guy's kind of cutting once on the inside so I can make my pieces smaller, and then I'm cutting down to make kind of a crosshatch situation, and then we're just going to cut to the side. And I'm not going to look at you, Karen, because with knives,
No, you do not.
you
no.
look at your food. And, I think that can be when people, you know, have accidents. It's not paying attention. It's getting distracted, which is a big part of cooking. I like cooking with people and talking and, you know, making it more of a fun activity, but when I'm cutting stuff, I'll make sure I pay attention. I'm just kind of cutting them to be a little smaller.
Very good knife skills. She has excellent knife skills.
Yeah. I'm definitely not a chef. You know, I'm sure somebody could pick apart and find the little ones that are bigger than others. But when we're at home, I think you're controlling what you want. So if you know you don't like big pieces of onion, you'll just cut them a little bit smaller. You can leave them bigger if you like as well. The other thing with knife safety is just making sure your cutting board is stable. So sometimes you can put, like we have the tablecloth on there to keep things from slipping around, or you could put a wet towel or a wet paper towel just to keep your cutting board stable.
I never thought of a wet paper towel. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
it gives you some friction. So we're just going to add in a can of drained black beans, and then a can of drained corn. And the other reason I picked these recipes is because I know the church has a really great food pantry, and I wanted to highlight some resources that are kind of more common there.
What you are looking at that we were talking about earlier is all from the food pantry downstairs. We make sure that we are able to give our patrons a good quality and quantity with regards to all the different choices that they have. And for some people, they get to pick and choose. Everybody gets to pick and choose so they can decide what they want. Some people want green beans over corn, or peas over carrots, or that type of thing. The other thing is, a lot of our patrons, some of them do not have access to any kind of refrigeration. And so we want to make sure that they have access to still high quality foods, but they don't have to worry about freezer or refrigeration. So it's very important to us. And then we're open from 12 to 4:30 on Tuesdays, and lunch is served. So not only can an individual come and pick up food that they may need for their family, but they can also come and have lunch. This is definitely something we would serve during lunch. As a matter of fact, anytime we have cheese quesadillas, it's a huge hit.
Popular day.
A huge hit.
Oh, wow.
And we always make sure that they have plenty of fresh vegetables. That's nice part about our food pantry is that we are able to provide, because we have the refrigerator and the freezer space, we're able to provide a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, frozen meats, all of the things that, you would go to a grocery store to get. And that is because we have that capability. A lot of the food pantries that are around, they're smaller and they don't have that, so they have to go more with what we call the shelf stable.
Yeah.
But we are able then to have the dairy and eggs and cheeses and
great.
Yogurts.
Yes.
A lot of yogurts.
Yogurt's a great option.
Yeah, so we're able to do all of those things because we have the refrigerator space.
Oh, very cool, Karen. Such a
So-
good resource. So yes, as Karen was talking, I just chopped up a little bit of cilantro. This is a great example of being able to combine some of those shelf-stable items with a few fresh. I think fresh herbs are a great resource because they're relatively cheap. Usually a bunch is under $5, and you get a lot of different uses, and it just adds a nice little pop. And then we just chopped up some onion. You could definitely add more to this. I would probably want to add maybe some seasoning, some maybe taco seasoning or cumin. You could just even add a jar of your favorite salsa to make it, quick and easy. And then you've got that extra fiber from the beans and corn with your salsa, so it's more enriched. Or you could make a vinaigrette or something on your own, like a dressing for something like this. This is a really good base for a lot of things. You could add this to a quesadilla or burrito or on top of rice. So it's a jumping point for a lot of cool ideas. Yeah.
So, fiber, it's not just the fad. It's
Yeah.
actually something that we really need to think about in our diet because, of course, a balanced nutritional diet is what's most important to help us get through life, to get through the day.
Yes.
And so to be able to make sure and know that you're getting enough fiber and what foods you like that are fiber rich is definitely helpful.
Yes, thank you, Karen. And hopefully, this is some good ideas and some quick and easy ways, and you can find ways to make it things that you like. I'm really glad you said that. I think, everybody should focus on foods they enjoy, and that should be our foundation. So hopefully these might be some ideas people enjoy and get to use some of the foods from the pantry or at their house. This was good. I'm kind of hungry now.
Well, I thank you everyone for attending the live studio, as well as anyone who might be watching us later on, watching us live right now, or watching us later on in our YouTube channel.
Yes.
But it was nice to do another edition of Juneau Eats from the Juneau Live studio here at Resurrection Lutheran Church.
Yes, this was great. This was my first one, and I really enjoyed it. And I think the crew with the Showrunner Camp did a great job, so I'm very impressed with the professional aspect of the production. So I had a lot of
Yes.
fun. This was great.
So, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
we out? Are we done? Are we
Are we-
out?
So you guys are out.
Oh, we're out.
We're out.
We're
Okay.
still live. We're going to
Okay.
present the script and slide. Okay. Introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Grace Feathers, and I am the faculty director for the apprentice camp, which is the half-day camp.
And I'm April Dooley, faculty director for the Showrunner Camp. And we've done a combined group on this series. And so we're so happy to honor our students for all the work that they've done. And we'll start with the apprentice group.
First up, we have Rose. Please come get your certificate. Next, we have Nathan, who's back doing our directing. And Rose was our stage manager for the production, and she did a great job. Nathan, feel free to just walk in front of the cameras. Right here. Thank you. And Leaf, who is on a camera. Thank you, Leaf.
Oh, Leaf, you can go right there. We're going to trust those cameras.
Ernest, you can get your certificate, who is also on one of our floor cameras. Last minute. Thank you, Ernest. And Daniel, who is on our big, huge jig. Please get Daniel. They did amazing this week. They learned a lot and had a great time. Please give them a round of applause again.
And now we'd like to invite up our showrunner.
We do theirs at their show.
Okay. Just kidding. All right. Thank you so much, and thank you to the parents and the family members that supported this. This was a real treat to try and do this. This is our first time. It's an experiment, and we appreciate your patience and your support. Thank you.